It's June now, and we all know what time it is. Time for one of the last few seasonal previews for the upcoming summer 2021 season. We just had a banger of a season, and I'm sure that everyone had their fill of crazy shows representing all kinds of genres. While we slowly bid the spring 2021 season goodbye, it's time to look to beyond the horizon of what's to come. What I'll do for today is to compile what I think are the top 10 most anticipated new anime this upcoming summer season. The examples are done on an anecdotal basis, but I feel that it does a decent job of representing what most people are looking forward to. Hey, if you're someone who's not too updated with the shows to come, maybe this is also your chance to pick up something that you might actually find interesting. But before we begin, let me introduce you to today's sponsors, Moonlight Sculptor. If the name sounds familiar to you, it's because the game allows you to take part in the world of the popular light novel and manhwa legendary Moonlight Sculptor. Let me tell you from experience that among the many novel adaptations I've played, few are as immersive as Moonlight Sculptor, enough to make me check out the actual source material. This game is a chibi MMORPG that comes with a plethora of features. A striking feature in this game is the existence of sleep mode. As I say, a true hero never rests, so this feature allows you to keep up with farming loot and XP even while offline. Moonlight Sculptor has had its first major update, giving us the treacherous Mirkan Tower to explore. We also got a Green Day event as well as guild hideouts. For the more adventurous types, new party dungeons and raids, including a chance at glory in the Tyrant's ominous temple, await. I'll be leaving a link in the description box so you can join the fun. Feel free to also join Moonlight Sculptor's many communities. They have a Discord server and a Twitter where you can get the latest news ASAP and meet new friends along the way. Now let's get on with the show. Death game or battle royale anime seems to be picking up steam now, isn't it? After quite the drought, we had both Gleipnir and Darwin's Game last year, which I both maintain to be rather underrated shows that you should definitely check out. But for this summer season, we'll look to be seeing more in the form of battle in 5 seconds after meeting. Just like the previous instances, here we see our protagonist Akira to be one of the many lucky people who gets whisked out of their everyday life to be part of an experiment. Said experiment, of course, practically erases them from existence while granting them powers. Powers that include the ability to enhance one's own body to being able to affect reality itself. There's quite a wide range of brokenness if you ask me. Now, what do they do with it? Trials, one-on-one fights, battle royales, fights to the death. Everything is on the table in this one. Armed with his most powerful asset, his intelligence, Akira looks to win this game and unravel the secret behind the sketchy organization responsible for these fights.
私にとってこの夏が最後の勝負だから。
PA Works is back again with its new offering this season. Aquatope of White Sand tells the story of Kukuru, an 18-year-old girl who works at an aquarium, and her meeting with runaway idol Fuka. The two eventually get to know each other, but those days together look to be coming to an end due to a looming crisis. With the aquarium being in danger of closing down, the two look to get to know each other and share their dreams. Is it just me, or does this show remind you of A Lull in the Sea? Must be the watery aesthetics, I think. Based on the synopsis alone, though, I'm seeing something like a coming-of-age story where the two girls get to grow with each other in a bid to save the aquarium. In a way, I can also see something like Adachi and Shimamura from it. Either way, I think that quite a lot of people are excited for this show, and I've got some decent expectations from it. It's only taken 3 slots, but we now have our first isekai of the batch, Tsukimichi.
汚らわしいあんたは世界の果てでじっとしてなさい。
Summoned to another world as a brave warrior, Makoto Mitsumi's adventure doesn't start on the right foot. I mean, he's apparently so ugly that the goddess of the world strips him of his title and banishes him to the wilderness. While he may be lacking in attractiveness, he has no shortage of power, something that he wastes no time in exhibiting in his lone journey. Standing against everything that fate throws at him, may it be monsters or the gods themselves, it's time for the forsaken adventurer to stand against fate and prove his worth. Now, I see a lot of people being so stoked with this finally getting an anime adaptation, and I can see exactly why. It's got a main character that's way more overpowered than typical isekais, and it's got a lot of wild and crazy stuff that I'm sure isekai lovers would never get enough of. This year's a really good year for isekai, right? We've got all of these heavy hitters like Mushoku Tensei and Spider coming out, and now you can add Tsukimichi to that list. In the number 7 slot is Remake Our Life.
それは売り物になる。私は それを心から楽しみにしている。
Every once in a while we get a show like this that hits a bit too close to home. Hey, it does the job of being relatable, so it passes. Anyway, Remake Our Life tells the story of Kyoya, a game developer who's in his late 20s. Having lost his job and starting to regret his decisions, life throws him a bone as he wakes up and discovers that he's traveled 10 years back in time to when he entered college. So how will this second chance fare? If you enjoyed something like New Game, maybe this show can tickle your fancy due to its similar themes. Personally, what I can take away from this is that it reminds me of Real Life, but it's far more comedic in nature. What I'm liking more from this show, based on current expectations, is how it's set to be one of the relatively few anime that tackle college life and its intricacies. Comparatively speaking, it's a rarity to see college life being depicted in anime, and I think we'll get a rather decent representation of it in this anime. I'll be expecting a lot of laughs and some dilemmas that could be relatable for the older audiences.
今僕の目の前に広がっているのは戻りたくて仕方なかった10年前のあの日の世界だった。
Number 6 on the list is Spirit Chronicles.
なんなんだこの記憶は。
What do you know, we have another Matsuoka Harem coming up, and both VA fans and Isekai fans are waiting for this. To be fair, this Isekai seems to have a rather unique concept and execution. Instead of a guy dying and resurrecting in another world, you have a person dying and having his memories and mind fusing with someone else from the other world. Yep, it is a bit of a mouthful, but think of it along the lines of just his consciousness that gets Isekai. So with that in mind, our protagonist's new host, a guy named Ryo, awakens to brand new powers. Maybe this is the power that Ryo would need to help him take the next step away from the slums, enrolling in the Royal Academy after saving a princess. However, being an orphan in a school of rich nobles isn't quite the most pleasant experience, as Ryo would soon learn. Personally, me being a fan of this specific genre and the light harem action shows, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It seems to be something up my alley, and if you're up for another one of these shows, put this title into your watch list. The Isekai train just does not stop, and we run our way into the number 5 title on the list, How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom.
もしかするとこの国に変革を起こせるかもしれませんよ。
Kazuya Soma finds himself in the plight of many anime heroes in the modern era, being transported into another world. There is one problem though, he's got nothing on these overpowered forces of destruction that call themselves underdog heroes. No. For Kazuya, his idea of heroism comes in a more, subtle way. You see, instead of going on a quest to defeat some demon lord, his idea of making his contributions is to rebuild the fledgling economy of the country that he finds himself in. Apparently planted into a position of power, Kazuya must gather his forces, make some arrangements, and get his A-game on in the whole wheeling and dealing thing with reforms to put the country back on its feet. Now, here's an isekai of a slightly different flavor. See, this is why the genre just refuses to die. There are just so many things you can do with the otherworld concept, and I feel like a show like this is just touching the tip of the huge iceberg of possibilities. This is a show that I'm personally looking forward to seeing.
ただ才あらば用いる。諸君らの才がこの国にとって有用と判断したら、私は礼を尽くしてそのものを家臣に迎えるであろう。
As we start breaching top 3 territory, we take our final pit stop with Sunny Boy.
ねえ、ここはユートピアなのかな？それとも地獄？
Now, with a title like that, I really didn't know what to expect at first. It turns out that the title is a show about students drifting to another dimension where they awaken their supernatural abilities. With their powers, their fight for survival in this otherworldly dimension begins. It's survival in the sense that it's structured more like an escape story instead of a battle one. Talk about another cool isekai variant, The premise is pretty much similar to a manga called Drifting Classroom. However, for those who prefer a comparison with more modern anime titles, I'm seeing something like Charlotte as far as the superpowered students thing goes, or maybe Talentless Nana. That's not exactly bad company to be in now, is it, right? Madhouse brings us this anime original on July the 16th. The art looks gorgeous already, and I can't wait to see how the story's gonna go. Overall, I'm keeping my expectations relatively high for this one. Number 3 on our list is Peach Boy Riverside. You remember the show which had 2 yandere-looking characters as the main ones, yeah? Well, it's coming this season, and you wouldn't expect something like that to have the title Peach Boy Riverside now, would you? From what we know of the show, it's basically an adventure story featuring a princess and her savior against monsters known as Oni. It's the story of a fated meeting leading to a journey that will affect the fate of the world. Now, it sounds like a standard adventure story, but I assure you that it's not that simple. From what I know, it's a very enjoyable show that bridges a lot of genres. It looks to be a really badass show that has shades of Momotaro. Wait a second, I guess that's where the name comes from, yeah? Overall, Peach Boy Riverside looks like a show that will have no shortage of over-the-top action and a handful of fan service. Oh, and did you know that it's by the same person who did Dragon Maid? This one's gonna be good. Our second most awaited show this summer is The Detective Is Already Dead. With a title that impactful, you have to wonder what the show's about. Turns out it's the story of Gimizuka, who's the assistant to one of the greatest detectives ever, Siesta. Or, well, used to be rather. Siesta's been dead for a while now, and Gimizuka has resigned himself to trying to live life as an ordinary high schooler. That low-profile life will come crashing down when he stumbles upon a girl who bears an uncanny resemblance to Siesta. Only fate knows what it has in store for the duo as they have their reunion. From what I can see, this anime looks to be a good combination of mystery and action elements. The novels have also got stellar reviews, mostly praising the character work and the fun interactions, not to mention how genre-savvy the overall work is. Now, I've got my fingers crossed to see whether all of that great stuff will translate well into the anime format. The case study of Vanitas seems to have it all. Amazing art, a captivating soundtrack by Yuki Kajura, and a very interesting story about vampires, all with the ever-fitting backdrop of Europe in the industrialization era. This is where our story starts with young Noe going on a journey to find the Book of Vanitas, a grimoire that will supposedly allow the legendary vampire Vanitas to one day take revenge on his demonic brethren. Turns out the story could be a bit mistold. After all, the Vanitas who Noe meets ends up being a completely normal human doctor. He does have a specialization in vampires, but the grimoire we knew about, it's being used to heal patients. Perhaps there are more layers behind this kind demeanor that we've yet to know about, and it's up to Noe to uncover those. Who doesn't love a good mystery? Especially one with a healthy blend of supernatural action. From a production perspective, few anime this summer can probably match Vanitas as it is now. This is probably also my pick for the big hit of the season, and I see this as something that could appeal to both male and female audiences as early as now. This is exactly why the case study of Vanitas is my pick for the #1 most anticipated title of summer 2021. I don't think it's going to disappoint at all. As I wrap up this list, I want to know which of these titles are you looking forward to the most. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and share this video with your friends. If you feel that you want to take a step further and support the channel, memberships and my Patreon are available avenues. Both come with perks, and the more supporters the channel gets, the better videos I can keep producing. Don't forget to check out our sponsors game, Moonlight Sculptor. Links in the description. That's it for this video. Hope you stay awesome. Until the next time, this is ViniiTube signing off.